I begin with Dr. Chen. She is the Vice President of National Science Mission in Thailand, with over 2 decades of experience in science communication and public engagement. She has championed civic science literacy innovative outreach programs. Please join me in welcoming her to share insights on expanding science museums and public engagement with STI. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me to join this forum. I'm very honored, and thank you very much to our good friend, Dr. Kunal, who see this opportunity for us to share and learn together on this important topic. Well, I'm from Thailand National Science Museum. I am also serve as the executive committee of the Science Society of Thailand and also the Science Museum and Science Centers Network in Asia Pacific, as well as the Vice President of the Road Science Education Consortium, which works closely with ECOSF and the former President Professor Mansoor Sondro. Well, so today I'm here to share from some of our works in enhancing public science literacy, an important agenda to many countries that aim to improve citizen quality of life and drive economic growth through innovation. We now think of public capacity in science, not only we now think of public capacity in science, not just as knowledge, but as science capital. In simple terms, how well equipped our people are with science and technology, and not only in terms of understanding, but also in mindset. Key components of science capital include scientific knowledge and understanding, the formal and informal knowledge a person has about science concepts, facts, and how science works. The science-related attitudes and values, the belief that science is relevant, valuable, and useful in everyday life. People with high science capital are more likely to view science positively. And science-related behavior and engagement, participation in science activities, visiting museums, watching science documentaries, or doing some home experiments, and science-related social contacts, means having family, friends, or mentors in science-related fields, which can boost science capital through exposure, encouragement, and role models. Last but not least, science-related in aspiration and career awareness of STEM careers, and the belief that these are attainable and worthwhile paths. Well, why science capital is important? Because it's rich in equality, it encourages STEM careers, and it empowers informed decision making. The society with high science capital is better equipped to make informed choices on critical issues like climate change, health, and technology. Well, coming from Science Museum, I see that first-hand and vital role of Science Museum in science and science centers play as part of science learning ecosystem. We contribute to public science capital by making science accessible and engaging for people of all backgrounds. We offer hands-on experiences that make scientific idea tangible, acting as hubs for public dialogue and engagement, and fostering lifelong curiosity of science. So at NSM, for Science Museum, we can do a lot of this, and at NSM, our museum, we have some strategic tools to promote science capital. They are cutting-edge learning centers, festive outreach, project-based competition, empowering science communicators, public science learning resource, and partnership. So this is our museum, which is located in Pathum Thani province, 40 kilometers north of Bangkok. We try to make the museum hands-on, interactive, and cover various areas in science, technology, and innovation. We also have intensive outreach program and small science centers scattered in the country. So for the Science Museum, of course, we would emphasize on the basic science, make science more tangible. From our record, students participating in the Science Museum go back to school and have better inspiration and better interest in learning science because they can see how science, in real life, in practice, in a tangible way. We also have Natural History Museum, which we emphasize on the value of biodiversity. I understand in Pakistan you have very good record of biodiversity research, and we have very good Natural History Museum. How can we make it strong and interactive and interesting for people? So I think in this region have a great potential in that. This is something very relevant today. It's the Information Technology Museum, and or you can say a Digital Technology Museum, which showcase the upcoming technology that is very relevant today. It's not only for kids, but it's also for elderly people. And the important thing is also how we can relate people to ecosystem, to environment. So this is Rama Ecology Museum, which named after our past key. It showcases about how human and environment live together in harmony. And this year we are going to open this new museum called Futurium, which is about innovation and industry. The young generation needs to understand if they study science, how can they bridge science to engineering, and how can this affect the drive of the economy. So this museum will show the connection between science, engineering, industry, and economy. The museum also showcases the STEM career. So we will have 27 STEM career opportunity for the students to expose to. So this is some of the photo of the gallery and the idea of the STEM career gallery. Well, of course, even though we have a hub of science museum, but Thailand, even though it's smaller than here, but we still have a lot of people in the region. So we developed our oversized caravan, bringing interactive hands-on science exhibition to various areas all over the country. We also organize a festive outreach, which is a large festival in the convention center. This festival not only organized by us, but 100 organizations, including universities, research centers, join in participating in this festival. And we have about almost 1 million visitors each year. We also produce some of the traveling exhibitions so that we can work with local museums or local universities to bring this scientific exhibition to them. And these exhibitions are hands-on, interactive, and easy to understand. Okay, another strategy for us is the importance of science project. Science project is project-based learning. So we like to emphasize this, so we organize it in partnership with the Science Society of Thailand and local university countrywide to develop this science project competition on many subjects. Science, physical science, natural science, and also space science. We also asked to get the Prime Minister award for the science project, based on the science project of the year. Okay. Our next strategy is to create more science communicator. You know, science sometimes is a complicated subject. So we want to engage young people to help doing communicating science to the young people. So these are some of the programs called Young Thai Science Ambassador, which engage university students all over the country to be part of the science communication. And we also do the science communication for high school level called Science Inspired by Tea. We also engage the researchers to do science communication, and we call this a research show. Okay. Besides that, the museum also produces a lot of science media, science documentary, and learning tools. These are our program called Science Delivery. It means we have to provide some science results to deliver to home, to schools. We have online outreach program. Through this program, we have some of the learning tools and books produced by our researchers. But you will see that these books are not academic books. They are public and academic. So we like to use a format, beautiful, and easy to understand, so that the public can be engaged easily. Okay, this is another most important issue for this talk is partnership, the collaboration. NSM alone, we don't have enough scientists, we don't have enough people who are expert in all the fields, so we work a lot, okay, with higher education, universities, and research institutes on all the science talk, but we try to make it more simple and more interesting for the public, for the students. We make documentaries, interviewing different STEM careers, and luckily we've got a very good collaboration from all the researchers in Thailand. So we make this very nice program on how science, has helped the society. These are the cutting edge exhibition. It's created last year on AI. It's a difficult topic, but NSM make it at our science festival to make it interactive, understandable, and we work with the research institute. Okay. On AI, on climate change, you see, we try to make it interesting and fancy, but based on academic information. And this one is on STEM career. This year we are going to develop a new exhibition on brain science and on quantum science. So you see, this topic are quite advanced, but we need our public to be able to understand the conceptual about it, and also to feel that they are not afraid of these topics. Okay. Well, this is almost the end of my last slide. I am really appreciate, all the collaboration, all the exchange, and actually today, my talk, I hope that I would inspire some of you, who are in higher education, in the research institute, or maybe in education for young children, that we could work together, to provide an opportunity for our next generation. And ECOSF is a very good partner, and we exchange together on how we could use simple ways, use toys, use traditional technology to teach science to the people. Okay, these are some of the network that you could join to exchange and to learn about how could we provide informal science education that could work together with the formal science education. And again, this is my last slide. I think we all know that our future and our future generation will have to face different challenges. And science museum, science centers can serve as a vital national infrastructure to provide scientific access to all, to support science learning as an ecosystem and enhance public science literacy, preparing the society for the challenging future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chen, for this insightful keynote and highlighting the key role of science museum as a tool. There's one famous saying by an English scientist that science is not finished until it's fully communicated. So uh, the more aware society is of science, the more so that is reflected into their policy, this is reflected into the actions they take and the economic growth they take. Thank you very much. May I move to the next speaker, uh, Ambassador Dr. Mohammad Nafees Zakaria, who is the Executive Director of COMSATS. He has been a diplomat and has career experience in the UK, Malaysia, and beyond. And he has been striving hard these days as a leader of COMSTECH to foster STI collaboration. Uh, for, and he will be sharing his thoughts on strengthening South-South collaboration in STI besides COMSTECH. Over to you.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank Professor Kamal Tebi for inviting me to this session. Express my gratitude to the HEC for facilitation. And I have my friend here, who is the Executive Director of ECO Science Foundation, Mohammad. Actually, I replaced him as Executive Director. One exciting thing which I want to say is that the lady who was the keynote speaker today comes from a country where I've served for 5 years. So I've seen the wonderful strides they have made in the field of science and technology, their focus on education, and the discipline which this nation has actually shown in every respect, in every domain of life. There is no denial of the fact that how science and technology has been instrumental in building the economies across the globe. And I think science and technology is not something that is, I would say, natural. It actually is something that explains the nature that existed for millions of years, and the nature that has been, according to scientific explanations, also as a belief of, as a Muslim, that it is the creation for which it has been insisted time and again that you have to read, you have to understand, and understand. Unless you understand what is going around in the world in which you exist, you will not be able to benefit from that. So regional cooperation, international cooperation is very important from the point of view that it is a strategic means to development. Uh, the countries that have taken lead in science and technology, they are part of the developed world. The countries that have lagged behind, they are part of the global south. We talk about it quite often. These are the definitions that given by the United Nations. Uh, I've come to. I just also share that the world is divided between two blocks. One block is a block of developed countries, and the other block is the block of developing countries. And this distinction or division has come about only because that those who are part of the developed world, they were able to invest a lot and pay more attention to science and technology, learning as to what is around us and how we can benefit from that. This realization came to, at this point in time, I would like to, pay tribute to our very leading scientist of Pakistan, Professor Abdul Salam, who was a Nobel laureate. He conceived this idea and he actually understood these factors, that what actually divides the two worlds, the developing and the developed. So he took upon himself and he brought a number of countries together from the global south to establish this forum or this intergovernmental organization, which I'm heading as executive director. The name is the Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in the South. It's an intergovernmental organization of 27 member states. It's a huge, actually, platform. And it is, I believe, the only intergovernmental organization that is focused on science and technology. We drive our strength from 25 centers of excellence that are established across the globe. We have our footprint by virtue of the membership as well as the network of centers of excellence in Asia, in Africa, in Middle East, Latin America, and now in the network of centers of excellence, we have been joined by one university from Europe as well. So we have now our footprint that is started, and that will grow, inshallah, in the coming times in the Europe. Now, it is very important that we should not leave things where things are, and we should not actually envy that how the developed world has progressed, and maybe we cannot catch up. I think we can always catch up. And this is what Professor Abdul Salam thought. And that's why we have the overarching objective of this organization to bridge the technology gap and the knowledge gap that exists between the global north and global south. We have centers of excellence, 25 centers of excellence, and we also have international partnerships. We work in tandem with, we don't only work as South-South cooperation, but we have a triangular cooperation also. So we work with the international organizations. These 25 centers of excellence is the fountainhead where we draw our strength. We have clustered them into 9 clusters by virtue of their expertise in a particular field. For example, we have the cluster of biotechnology. We have the cluster in which a number of centers of excellence belonging to various countries from Asia, Africa, Latin America, fall. And then we have AI, we have clean energy. So we have actually developed 9 clusters so that we could have a better focus on every area. These centers of excellence, they devise activities, and the secretariat that I'm heading here based in Pakistan, hosted by the government of Pakistan, it actually coordinates and facilitates the implementation of or the running of those activities that are designed by the centers of excellence of COMSATS. We not only that centers of excellence of the COMSATS is not the only source wherefrom we have we generate activities, but we also collaborate with a number of international organizations and regional organizations. Today's event actually of ECONEX has afforded an opportunity for networking, and this is what actually our job is, to benefit, to know each other's expertise and also benefit from each other's expertise. So we went to the COP29. There we were able to actually connect with ICESCO, ICGED, and we have been working in collaboration with a number of United Nations subsidiary bodies also. I must admire that when COVID-19 happened. That was a time when digitalization actually emerged as a savior for businesses. But what was needed to be observed was that the countries with readiness in digital infrastructure, they mostly belong to the developed world. They were able to cope with the decline in the impact of that COVID-19 on the economies. Not only that, they were able to check the decline, they were also able to reverse it. But the developing countries, which did not have much digital infrastructure in place, they were actually not ready for that. So the remote working were not as effective as it was in the developed world. So they came out. It took them a long time to, come to overcome the problem posed by the COVID-19. COVID-19 is just one epidemic and pandemic that hit, but there had been many, and we expect that there will be many also in the times ahead. Uh, we have our motive is to engage not only the member states of COMSAT, but we also offer the technological expertise and experience that we possess to any country that want to benefit from it. Our flagship projects, we have used, actually our main job is to see what the member states are facing, the challenges they're facing, and we provide them with the tech based solutions to them. For example, in the case of Pakistan, I'll just give an example. We have, it's a very big country, very vast territory, and there are communities in very remote areas, hard to reach areas. Basic health care and facilitation of health facilities was it's a very big challenge for the government of Pakistan. So we actually came up with the solution, technology-based solution. So we started establishing telehealth clinics across Pakistan. And right now we are running like 31 telehealth clinics, and rather I would say 32 now. Just 2 days back we established the 32nd one, and there are 4 in the pipeline. Most of them they are in Balochistan, because Balochistan is a very vast territory, and we are we have the resource center equipped with the not only equipment but also the doctors who sit in Islamabad, but they treat the patients live in remote areas of Balochistan, Chen, and other places. So I think that is what technology can do in terms of wonders that we have seen. We also have actually ventured into the now the most uh, sought after technology is the EV, the electric vehicles. So we have ventured into that, and Alhamdulillah, we were able to actually have this indigenous technology developed in Pakistan, and we are now field proven with 10,000 kilometers of our products on ground, and master technology in whatever domain we have that technology. So that understanding is with me on from the Center of Excellence that I deal with under the umbrella of COMSATS. So I think these are the occasions like this occasion of Econex and the occasion of COP29. We should avail of these opportunities to do the networking and get to know each other, and then follow-up is very important. We are very weak at follow-ups actually. And I think this is where I would suggest that I have identified a few things that we are as a flagship project that we are pursuing. I think anybody who is interested, they're most welcome to come and discuss in detail, and we can share that technology and expertise with anyone who wants to benefit. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Zakaria, for sharing your experience as a lead for the concepts. And you rightly mentioned that one of the most biggest challenges is the developing economies face with the limitation of the financial and technological constraints. And this is where the region like GCO, COMSTECH, and your own member countries can come together for sharing their research, knowledge together, and collaborate with each other to address the local challenges and the problem that we face, the common problem. Now I move on to our next speaker, Dr. Sarita Naik, STK Naik. So, Dr. She has been the former chairperson of the Pakistan Council for Science Technology. One thing that I need to mention is that she has been among the movers and shakers of STI policy frameworks for not just for Pakistan, for many developing economies, particularly in OIC. She has a wealth of experience, and why the policy framework is why that's so important. Because if you look at the fundamentals of STI, number one is the policy. The second are the research, or the education and skill development, the R&D innovation that takes place through institutional framework, and then public-private partnership. But the key role is how do you drive those all actors together in a direction where you want to see the progress that ecosystem is going to promote the economic growth. This is where the policy comes in. So I would like to request Dr. S.T. Naik for her experience and how Pakistan's vision can be implemented and achieved for STI-led development with a focus on regional collaboration. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to talk about this. Um, in terms of policies, yes, my organization, Pakistan Council for Science and Technology, we did, the first policy was made there in 1959 by Professor Salam. I think very few of you know that the first policy of Pakistan was made in 1959 at the same time that American Governor Bush gave their policy, the endless science, the endless frontier. Professor Salam's policy was very similar to, in fact, even better than Governor Bush's policies, which had been implemented properly. In 1984, then, under the chairmanship of Dr. Amir Khan, who was also the chairman of Pakistan Council for Science and Technology, another policy was made and approved by the government. Even the first policy was approved by the government in 1961 by General Ayub Khan, who was the president of Pakistan at that time. He, in a meeting in Swat, he addressed the scientists and he said, if we don't do science, we will be praying for rain, for our agriculture, because at that time mostly our economy was based on agriculture. And in fact, if you look at the challenges of Pakistan, what are our challenges? Our challenges are many, of course. Major challenges, of course, unemployment, poverty reduction, inequality in our societies, and in fact, it's in all regional countries, these challenges are common. Water is, availability of clean drinking water is still a problem. Food security is a problem. There are many, and then of course, national security. But when I talked to in the second, during President Musharraf, he had a third policy document, and which I presented to the, on behalf of PCST, my colleagues made the policy, and in that policy document, when I addressed the parliament, I said, look, your economy is based on cotton crop. And who did the cotton? Who did all that? The scientists did. Who increased the production of cotton? The scientists. And our exports, 65% of our exports are based on textiles, again, which is based on cotton crop. So this is what the economy is. Our security was because of the scientists, the conventional weapons could not have made us safer, but the scientists made us safer by just doing what they did, by making the going into the nuclear technology. And then our, you know, basically all our problems, in fact, can be solved with science and technology. There is all development problems that Pakistan faces or the regional countries faces, they can be solved with science and technology. Now, um, Pakistan has come a long way, as you know, in terms of science. We see it on our forum, from the Forum Pakistan Council of Science and Technology, major R&D organizations were established in the 60s and 70s and 80s. In fact, most of the universities, even the council had a membership of 30 members. They would meet very often under the chairmanship of Professor Salam, and they would decide where to establish the universities, where to establish which R&D organizations. Most of the R&D organizations were established during that time, but mostly recommended by the council. And we very often had these meetings where we discussed our emerging issues. What are the issues and how do we resolve them? For example, there was a time when cotton crop had a disease, and we had a meeting at the council. We invited all the agriculture scientists. We told them, we invited the agriculture minister also, and we told him that you ask your scientists to come up with a solution as soon within 6 months. Give them funding, give them, encourage them and tell them to come out with solution, because we had invited the foreign experts also from Australia and from America, and they could not solve our problems. It was our own scientists who came out with the problem to solve the problems. So Pakistani scientists have always, come out with solutions. They are capable enough to solve all our problems. If given a proper environment, and I think a cultural change we need. A culture which really, which um, merits creativity, on which is, and which recognizes intelligence, and which lets the students and the scientists work independently, not under under the bureaucratic system. Because this 9 to 5 system is not meant for science. It has to change, because it's a very system, it makes you very stagnant. And I think the scientists don't want that 9 to 5 system. They want an independent system where they can work independently and where their work is appreciated. Now, I'll come to Pakistan has many challenges. I gave you briefly, and the role PCST has done a lot of work. Pakistan Council for Science and Technology. In fact, we were the one who made a presentation for the establishment of Higher Education Commission to the President, and this is how Higher Education Commission was made. Also, international collaboration. We did international collaboration with the USA, where the scientists collaborate. Now we have a funding, which both countries contribute $3.5 million from Pakistan and $3.5 million come from America. And then in that funding, the scientists collaborate. And because the collaboration does not happen if first thing you need is for the scientists to collaborate is that they need to have um, um, trust with each other. They need to trust each other, and the trust only comes when you are working with some scientists and you know them well, and trust is built over a period of time. It's not built immediately. So that trust is needed within the region now, within the regional scientists. And I think I'm going to give you a brief on what should be what are the benefits of the regional collaboration, because you know in each country we have these uh, these diamonds, or these very, very highly qualified scientists who, who are, but we lack in numbers in each country. We lack in the sort of, we don't have enough engineers, the highly qualified engineers, we don't have enough highly qualified scientists. So the collaboration can help us come out with all for all our, to face all our challenges and to face all our issues. And I think, and that is a very important um, area where we should go into. Collaborate, as like the ambassador said, the COVID problem. We had I made a project at that time in collaboration with Ministry of Health and all other private sector, and that we could have made our vaccines. And then Iran has some expertise in vaccines. Um, some other countries, regional countries, have expertise. India is already making a lot of vaccines. China, of course, is making vaccines. We could have collaborated and made our vaccines to be self-sufficient for all of the regional countries. All our countries. So, and we should be ready for the next um, thing like COVID if it comes again. Because we should be ready for all these emergencies or all these, environmental issues that we face and other health issues that we may face in future. And for that, it's very important to collaborate regionally. So regional collaboration can give you economic growth, of course, environmental sustainability, social welfare, which is reduction in poverty and facing inequality, health sector, cultural preservation, strengthening local cohesion, promotes mutual understanding among diverse population. You know. Uh, the two modes of collaboration, as you know, that STI and DUI. The STI is mostly for universities, when the universities collaborate. And for that, what we need, the policies that we need is to um, give them, to have some scholarships or some programs where the students can easily move, or students go from one country to another for 3 to 8 months to do or to complete part of their studies. So we need to have such programs, where free circulation of students, within the region to build mutual understanding, share experiences, learning. It will increase their learning with both. Every country will benefit from each other because each country has a different um, curriculum and different different ways of learning. And of course, there's also this indigenous knowledge in each country, which can be shared and which can be of great economic importance in the end. Um, Similarly, with the DUI learning is doing, using and interacting. That is wherein the industry comes in. In that also, because in each country you have this special areas, where for example, clusters we have. We have a cluster in Sialkot, we have a cluster in Multan, we have a cluster in Gujranwala and Gujarat. Engineering clusters. There are engineering clusters for textiles, clusters for um, you know, force goods and all that. So in that, each cluster has its their their innovation is path dependent, path dependency. So that can be shared also only with if there is collaboration.
Dr. Ling, may I request to conclude your interventions? May I request you to please conclude your interventions for the limitation of time?
Okay, okay,
Thank you.
okay. So regional collaboration is the most efficient use of financial and technical resources. Of course, we all know that reduces duplication, cost efficiency, economies of scale, and learning. That's very important because if we um, if we want to get into economies of scale, we have to give them incentives to collaborate to the industry, and for that, mm, the industry we will force them to collaborate by telling them that we will, you know, you have to collaborate to become to make go into economies of scale. And then the opportunity for being first in the market. STI Alliance is helping meeting challenges of rapidly changing technologies, risk reduce of risk reduces risk of uncertainty. This is all about STI. And then I've given, what is needed in our country is visionary leadership. But if you look at the um, um, development of all the East Asian countries, for example, you go into Singapore, we had Lee Kuan Yew, we had Japan first of all. Japan had Meiji, then we had Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, we had Mohammad. Most of the, in China, for example, Deng Xiaoping and um, um, Zhou Enlai, they were all great leaders. They they all understood the value of science, and they were most of them are scientists themselves. In China, in fact, I have been 6 times in China, 6 or 7 times I think, and most of the mayors were all they had an engineering degree in science, and the vice president has a scientist. In South Korea, the minister for science is a scientist. And in fact, the vice president of South Korea is a scientist who I met and invited him to Pakistan also. So Malaysia, Mahathir, Dr. Mahathir is a doctor. So I think what we need is the visionary leadership who knows science. What we get in our institutions are people who are just not scientists at all. And the Ministry of Science and Technology in Pakistan should understand the value of science. And I think what they're going to do is they're closing down the most important organization. This is the Pakistan Council for Science and Technology, which is given the policies of science, which has always made science. And that is such a, I feel that it would be such a tragedy because the council has always done its work extremely diligently and and has made several organizations, has contributed a lot to this country, and to closing it down would be certainly a great tragedy. So this is because we lack those leaderships, unfortunately, in the ministry also, and also the understanding. Um, the, the organization should not be closed down. They should be headed by people who are relevant, who have the relevant knowledge. Not if you have a big impact factor or big. All organizations are headed by are people who are not relevant, so not relevant to the organization's objectives. So most of them, I think what is needed is appoint the right people at the right organization. And PCST has been without a chairperson for the last 10 years. And the people who came after I left have not been relevant to they've not had any idea about science policies at all. In fact, the last chairperson that I met, I interviewed also. When I asked her what was the difference between invention and innovation, she did not know. So if somebody doesn't know even the difference between invention and innovation, then they're not supposed to be heading institutions like the Science Pakistan Council for Science and Technology. So it's a very important institution. The people work very hard there. We still have some very good scientists there. It needs to have a proper chairman rather than being able to close it down. Because
Thank you, Dr. Ames. Your point is very well presented. And for you rightly emphasize the role of collaboration, legal collaboration in science technology, and of course, without the visionary
yeah,
leadership. So, and also the appreciation, the values of science that we need to create, cultivate,
yeah, that's very
and
important.
inspire our youth to become scientists and contribute to this important field. This is what we see that we need to encourage. And thank you for your intervention. Next, I'll move to Professor Dr. Chen. So we have 3 speakers left, and we are already out of the schedule. So now I would request that please, maybe you could squeeze your interventions a bit so that we can go on to that session again, or keep with the schedule. So if you keep your intervention short, I'll be grateful. Dr. May I request your associate to join because you would require translation, right? Yeah, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you, friend. I'm very glad to take part in this. I come from taking this project in business. And AI exactly effective.我先让中文讲一下。
Present my presentation in Chinese to better express my idea. Thank you.
主持人给我这个题目，我觉得还是有一点挑战性的，因为它是一个非常细致的一个题目，关于讲这个科学、技术和创新的一个生态系统，是吧？所以说，对中国这个比较关注，我觉得这个，对于我来讲，我研究的一般，我想通过这些工作经历啊，或者我研究这些现象，来做一下介绍。
So the presentation title, as you mentioned, is actually challenging. It's a challenge tool because it's a system work about how the science and technology and innovation is happening in China. Because now we have a big concern about what is happening, what is going on in China. And I'd like to express our experience on the education and R&D that is going on in China to give you a brief idea.
我想我们从要说起来，先从我们中国的这个古代四大发明来说一下，有这个印刷术、造纸、火药、指南针，这是我们中国古代的四大发明，这个可以大家应该都知道是这个东西。
So I would like to start my presentation from introducing the 4 great inventions of China, which has greatly influenced the influence of the entire world: the paper making, printing, the gunpowder, and the invention of canvas.
但是到了现在，其实我们中国的经济比较差，是吧？所以我们从中国从这个80年代开始改革开始开始40多年，所以我们又重新回到了这个世界经济舞台的中心。
And now, since the reform and opening in the 80s in the last century, China has regained a central position in the global realm.
其实呢，它是一个系统。那我现在理解的，我认为它比较全形，因为它这个系统非常庞大，是由一代又一代的这个国家领导人，一代又一代的，他把这个系统搭起来。到现在为止，看这个系统还是非常科学。
As we have a very giant system for the science technology involved in the reform and all these policies. It is actually the effort of the generation after generation of the leaders of China to put forward our reform and the importance of science in the progress of China.
从1980年代改革开放，其实这个那个是我们经济的一个起点啊，就是经济开始起步的一个起点，
And the 80s in the last century is actually the start point for the economy and the market of China.
然后呢，就制定了一系列的产业政策，所以这个产业政策是分阶段、逐步的，也不是一下就达到最中高的水平，是吧？那么我们是从这个农村到城市，这是一个改革。第二个就是从这个产业政策激励，包括设计一些园区啊、科技园区啊。第三个呢，实际上就是科技的研发和创新，啊，它是一步一步的啊。当然这里面也有同时开展。
And we have set a system of policy frameworks based on the following layers. First is that we transfer the development emphasize from the agriculture to the industry of China, and we have set focus on the enterprise development. We have set many centers and places in China to encourage development and applications of science and technology in the enterprise, and also and we have put a lot of focus on the research and development.
这我是快手。那么科学技术这一块，其实我们经过了40多年呢，实际上就是慢慢的很多这个短板都是补的差不多了，是吧？所以我们现在呢，实际上是在了这个创新阶段。创新阶段实际上就是我们这个科学技术优先发展，然后我们国家这个领导人更好的这个科学技术第一生产力。
And in the last 40 years, we have overcome the many shortage in the economy and the science of China. And now the most focus of China is on the innovations in science and technologies. And as our leader, Deng Xiaoping has said, science and technology is the most fundamental force for the development of country.
那么现在我们处于第四次工业革命的这个阶段，那我们其实第一个工业革命、第二个工业革命、第三个工业革命，我们中国其实都没有赶上。所以第四个工业革命我们正在处在一个最好的时机，所以我们要抓住这个机会，特别是我们目前在人工智能、是吧、大数据等等这样的这个前沿科技方面投入了大量的这个研发的能力。
With China actually has missed the industry revolutions of the previous time, but now we are in the times of the fourth generations of the industry revolutions, which greatly involve in the AIs, big data, which we have put a lot of fundings, human resources, and energy into that.
还有一个就是它或者这个装备。特别是很多设备，比如说这个机械设备是吧？汽车设备，汽车、轮船、高铁等等这样，这是对国家这个经济、对国家基础设施最重要的这些，我们都慢慢的有一定的这个体系。
And another great progress of China is the high-end equipment and device manufacturing. We have put a lot of effort and outcomes in such as the high-tech trains, the new energy cars and vehicles, and in that was greatly benefit the basic infrastructure of China.
包括这个高铁、飞机啊，这个航天等等。 也取得了良好的成绩。
And also we have such as like also the most cutting edge large aircraft is also in taking a good progress.
那么你现在去中国旅行，你会发现，在1000公里以内，飞机比火车快，火车比飞机快，是吧？但超过1-2000公里的话，你是坐飞机。但在在中国呢，基本上是在1000多公里范围之内都喜欢坐高铁。
And now in China, as we know that we used to think that the plane is the fastest transporting ways globally, but actually in China, if you travel like in 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers range, it is the fastest way to go by the high-speed train.
其实这个科技技术，它都是一个体系的。其实最重要还是教育，教育我简单讲，其实我们这个中国的教育现在也是发展很快，从原来的精英教育到普及化，现在很多人的小孩基本上都可以上大学。
And we have also made a reform in the education system in China, which is also taking a lot of focus. And we have transformed our education from the elite education to mass education. In China, most of the children they are able to go to university to get a high education.
当然，我们也学习这个其他发达国家的这个包括职业教育这一块，这个为这个产业提供这个技术，包括比如说德国这个方面。
And we also absorb the experiments such as in Germany to train our students for them to better prepare for the enterprise.
那么我花了几分钟时间给他介绍一下我研究的这个领域啊，前面都是一些通用的这个，前面不是专业，后面的这个因为专业关于这个印刷这一块。那我们看一下这个中国的印刷的发展这个变化，其实也是中国的经济发展的一个侧面。
And now I would like to introduce the printing industry in China, which is the profession of our institute and as our own team. And we can see that the development of printing in China is actually a small module of the development of the economy in China.
Your 10 minutes are over. These 10 minutes are over. So if you can conclude quickly.
So we'll close quickly.
Yeah, please.
它的那个构成就简单化，就是再看就这个，也就差不多了，是吧？这个就是做这个相关的工作，包括在全球的，在我们在中国也是全球最大的印刷的大的。那我们今天开会说的这个课程，这个印刷体系，这个我们专业范，我就讲这样，谢谢大家。
Thank you. So as you can see that China is actually occupied the largest market proportions in Asia, and so the printing industry is actually an applicable field that we should focus on, and that is the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. I'm really sorry for not letting you finish your presentation, but I had to do this in order to keep my other sessions in the schedules to check. Now I request Dr. Akram Sheikh, again the same request, please, if you can quickly conclude your thoughts. And you can also, you don't need to come to Boston, so it's up to you. Maybe a few slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Karim. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. Ajia Bhao for our Chinese friends. It is a privilege and honor for me to be here, to be part of this very important panel discussion. So, just wrap up because I have been told that we are running short of time. So just a few slides because the presentation, the part which is being given to me is that what is the role of science foundation, the STI for sustainable development. So the first slide is just an introductory slide And here we have discussed that what are the science foundation. They are actually dedicated for promoting the R&D, research and development. And those are act as a funding agency and for providing the financial support for scientific studies, research projects, and for the new technologies. And they are very crucial. Those funding agencies or STI organizations are very crucial for promoting science education and public engagement. Uh, like other science foundations, the Pakistan Science Foundation, uh, those are very important for the economic growth because to bridge knowledge creation with practical application, and they de-risk innovation for the private sector, nurture human capital, and create ecosystem for technological breakthroughs.
The foundation.
Just we have heard speakers about the global evidence that how those STI institutes have actually helped to invest less and reap more through STI. So these are the examples, the global evidence that how STI institutions are driving economic growth. Just for the sake of understanding and example, the NSF USA was established in 1950, and NSF has been instrumental in breakthrough like the TCP, Internet TCP/IP protocol, and global information system, which fueled the digital economy and logistics sector. Its budget is approximately 9 billion that supports 25% of US university research, contributing to industries worth trillions. Again, as the presidency, Hassan Nadeem Saab said, invest less and read more through STI. Then we have another example, that is the Fraunhofer Society, Germany. They have a success story like MP3 audio compression, generating billions in licensing renewable energy and powering global media industry. And that Fraunhofer Society earns about 70% of its income through contracts with industry or specific government projects. Then we come to the Asian tigers like South Korea, China, and Singapore. So South Korea, the Korea Institute of Science and Technology was established in 1966, and they spearheaded semiconductor and display technologies, enabling giants like Samsung and LG to dominate global markets. South Korea GDP per capita soared from $100 to in 1960 to $33,000 today, largely due to investment in STI. We have another agency that is from Singapore, Agency for Science, Technology and Research, focus on biomedical and engineering research, has made Singapore a hub for pharmaceuticals and precision manufacturing, and it attracted rupees 10 billion investment, creating around 16,000 high-tech jobs. Then we come to the China, CRISPR and biotech, NSFC China, National Science Foundation China, backed research led to gene editing advances, making China a biotech hub with a $400 billion market. Another breakthrough is the 5G technology. NSFC China telecom research underpinned foreign 5G dominance capturing 30% of global market and driving $500 billion in related economic activity. There are other areas as well, as Professor Chi also mentioned, that how China has invested in STI and they are actually the giants of economic growth. Quantum technology, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, another institute, developed the world's first quantum satellite, Nafees, and there is some guy called Muzi in 2016, enabling secure global communication and positioning China as a quantum tech leader. Then, as Professor Xi shared, high-speed rail. It is one of the actually. Then I will relate that the UN SDGs for STI, the goal 17 could be achieved by investing in STI, especially the SDG 2.0, the technological advancement in agriculture. Innovation in energy can be contributed to SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, and SDG 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Science also plays a crucial role in addressing SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. In the next slide, because Pakistan Science Foundation is mandated for promotion and funding of scientific and technological research. So these are the functions through which we approach to scientists, researchers, and all those institutes. These are the achievements, some of the achievements in the last 5 years, demand-driven research. Then we have youth in science. We distributed scholarship to 2,000 students through Science Talent Farming Scheme. And we have Science Academy unit, the mobile science lab. Then students participated in international Olympiads. Then we have Pakistan Museum of Natural History, and I would love to collaborate with the Museum of Natural History in Thailand, and plastic trained these much researchers. Now this is the statistics what we did in the last 5 years. So I just skipped. Now, what are the key challenges specifically for Pakistan? I narrate some of the challenges because the speakers have discussed many challenges in the eco-region as well as in Pakistan specifically. The R&D spending of Pakistan is 0.16 of GDP, that is underfunding in science and technology and education versus global average of 2%. Brain drain, annually 10,000 skilled professionals immigrate annually. Weak industry, academia, and linkages. And as Madam STK Naeem very well said, that the institute must be headed by the young person. This is again a challenge. So these are some of the actually recommendations to actually improve collaboration in the eco region, because in the opening session already our brother Dr. From the Vice Minister from Ministry of Science and Technology Research, he also narrated that the startups, ventures, technology parks, and also brother from Turkey mentioned about the economic growth of Turkey as well. So these are some of the recommendations: establish eco-tech parks, integrating universities, startup and MNCs. I'm just finishing. Multilateral research collaboration among ECO countries. At least 3 countries actually take part in the research project. Joint scientific exchange programs. Leverage Turkey automated expertise and Iran nanotechnology to co-develop the products. So I have finished, but just for the sake of the information of the audience, I kept few of the success stories of Pakistan Science Foundation in recent past during the COVID pandemic. So we have actually developed an angiographic catheter, and it is being commercialized. And that project was executed by the National Institute of Science and Technology, NAST. And these are the statistics that the revenue generated from that product is 14 million. And how much actually the import substitution, because previously we were importing this catheter from abroad. This is the again the catheter. Then we have indigenous design development of ventilators. So these are the commercial ventilators. Then we have portable ventilators, devices developed, and Shafar Ahmed Bazar, indigenous development of automated syringe pumps for intravenous infusion of COVID-19 patients in ICU. So this is the intravenous infusion pump. Then we have upscaling of AI-enabled data mining platform for information decision making in COVID-19 and future pandemic scenarios for government of Pakistan. With this, I ended my presentation, and thank you for your patience listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kamshik. Indeed, the role of Science Foundation is very important. Given the developing economies, it's in huge. So rather, we should take this as an investment rather than expenditure on science.